Greetings. Hello. Hola. Welcome to The Scene here on 88.1 The Park. It is 6 p.m. on a Thursday night, Thursday, April 27th. To be more specific, welcome to our April show. My name is Nick Brandon. I'm the founder and director and whatever else you might call it of the In the Band Music Appreciation Studio. And we are proud to partner with 88.1 The Park here for This Scene, the best in local music, specifically all you great artists from Plymouth Canton Educational Park. As Keegan Weaver, one of our in-studio guests, drops something. What was that, Keegan? Sunglasses?
Here's my phone.
Okay, your phone. All right. Well, that's an important item. So it was, what a month we've had it in the band. I think it's highlighted by a true landmark event for us, which was our first full-fledged benefit concert. It was April 14th in the Plymouth Arts and Recreation Complex, just downstairs from where our studio is located. What an incredible night it was for In the Band. What an amazing night it was for our bands. But more than anything else, everybody who joined us that night, I think, had a great time. We had terrific music. We had free pizza, right, guys?
Yeah.
Free pizza
Pizza was incredible. Yeah.
Domino. And just a rip-roaring good time had by all. And more than anything, from the end of our studio, we really raised some great money for the studio to allow us to do really cool things in the future, some of which we'll probably talk about tonight, because our guests tonight in studio, Junior High Cheer Squad, boy, it's good to have you guys here, are going to be part of some of the really exciting things we have coming in the next year at the studio. And that's just a little tease for some of the things we'll talk about later. So welcome, JHCS, Junior High Cheer Squad. We'll get to you guys in a minute. First, we're going to get to a little music. Sunday night, actually, the guys here, Junior High Cheer Squad, will be joining Daddy and the Longlegs, who, while technically not a PCEP band, they kind of feel like it just because they're kind of friends with everybody on the scene.
Aaron actually went to PCEP. He graduated from here.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. Cool. And so there is a connection there. But Daddy and the Longlegs is kind of a frequent performer at the shows that In the Band puts on, that the Scene puts on. They played April 14th at our benefit shows. So we're actually going to play a song tonight that's previously unreleased. We're going to hear from Daddy and the Longlegs. We're going to hear from Tasty Garden. Check in with our old friend Binyah Howard, who we haven't heard from for a while on these airwaves. And more fun and more tunes in the next hour. So welcome to The Scene. Let's get started with some music now. Here is Such a Flirt by Daddy and the Longlegs on 88.1 The Park.
I drove you home. I didn't even ask why you left so early. The birthday party your friends put on, same song on repeat since we left the bar. I took you out to the Italian place I can't afford. There was a spot of hors d'oeuvre stain on my shirt as I slammed the gas, cause you love to flirt with death, among other things. You're such a flirt. Such a flirt.
Are you waking there when I am lonesome here. Oh, my dear, how can you not see this is killing me?
Hayden, Sean, Joe, and Hunter, otherwise known as Tasty Garden with Are You Asleep at Night? Tasty Garden making its debut here on the scene. It was good to hear from those guys. And then before that, of course, we heard from Marco, Travis, and Colin of Daddy in the Long Legs with Such a Flirt. Again, a previously unreleased song kind of making its debut on the scene here tonight. You can see Daddy in the Long Legs on April 30th at the Plymouth Arts and Recreation Complex in the library upstairs in the second floor. On Sunday night for their 1-year anniversary show. They will be joined by the 3 gentlemen that are in the studio with me right now. There is something about this band. That's actually a quote that somebody said to me at our benefit show. And it was somebody that had never seen you guys before, and they just said, there's something about this band. And they said it in a very complimentary way, and they're right. I mean, let's face it. You've got singer-songwriter, Mr. Acoustic Guitar, who writes great, passionate, emotional songs. You've got music freak who loves to tap his guitar and has great taste in music. And then you only have, let's say the first chair violinist in the school orchestra. So you put those 3 together, what you get is Junior High Cheer Squad. Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
This is quite a mix of musicians, and it certainly comes out when you see you guys play. I mean, it's a different sound. It's different influences coming in, but it seems to work. Tell me about the beginnings of the band. I know that George, you were with Floodwaters. Keegan, you were doing your Me and the Dog thing. And let's face it, when Wes isn't doing this, he's playing his violin. So tell me how the beginnings of this band came together.
Me and Keegan were making music over the summer with a project that I did. And I was writing like a bunch of music. And it was like all different types of music. And I wrote this one song and I sent it to him. He was like, you want to come over and play on that right now? And I was like, yeah, sure. And we played it, and it was like, it was an experience just playing that in his basement. It was incredible. I was like, that's something we need to keep doing.
Yeah, and Keegan, you're the singer-songwriter guy, but you play the drums in this band.
I do.
Was it always a thing where you wanted to drum for a band and do something on the side, or how did this come about from your side?
Yeah, so I knew I had wanted to drum, and that was so February of 2016 was like, all right, I'll go get a drum kit. Went and got a drum kit. Started doing it, and like George said, we were messing around with a project called Holst that we played one show with, and it was kind of like a bedroom pop, just kind of like fun little project. And he sent me this song, which later turned into Picture Frames, which is I think our favorite song that we do. And so he sent me the song, and I was like, yeah, just come over, we'll mess around with it. And it ended up like, I think he wanted it to be bedroom poppy, but then I just started like hitting the drums really hard. And he was like, yeah, that's how it should sound. And so we decided to change the name and ask Wes to join us. And and then Junior High Cheer Squad was born.
Wes, they came to you and said, join the band. Did you kind of know what you were getting into in terms of influences? Certainly in terms of personalities, right? I mean, let's face it, George and Keegan, I mean, you guys are really difficult to deal with, right? They're always giving you a hard time, right, Wes?
Yeah.
No, but musically, did you know that this would be the fit that you were looking for when you wanted to join a band?
Well, I knew it was gonna, I was gonna play the guitar. It was gonna be a little more upbeat than, my usual violin genre music. But yeah, so our very first practice that we ever did, they wanted me to play the bass. So we played the bass for 2 songs, and then I was like, man, this song really needs a guitar part here. And so I decided to like just play on a guitar and just see how it worked. And later, I completely changed all of what I was doing. So I switched all the way to guitar completely, and so now I'm playing guitar full time.
Play guitar, but I noticed you also do some of the sequencing for the band and some of the keyboard parts as well, and that's
Yeah.
pretty key to this sound. So you
Yeah,
don't sell
definitely.
yourself short. You do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Any thoughts of getting the violin out with these guys?
Yeah, maybe in our recordings we'll either put a violin or cello in it. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've known Wes for 4 or 5 years now. We've known each other since middle school. I've known his dad for a while. His dad actually taught me how to play guitar. I'm dating his sister. And so, like, me and Wes, like, we go back. Like, we're buds. And so I knew that I wanted to play music with Wes. I've played Wes. Or I have not played Wes. I've played music with Wes in church. And so I knew he's an incredible musician, and I knew what he was capable of, and I knew what he could bring to the table. So I was definitely like, George, we need to ask Wes to play. And that's how that happened.
The chemistry stands out. I think it points back to that the best bands are ones that kind of start as friends. I mean, you guys were friends before you ever intended on being a band. And the fact is when I've seen you guys rehearse or the way you play on stage, you communicate well, you kind of know what the other person's thinking. There's just a real chemistry to the band. And it seems to allow each of you to be yourself, but still there's something cohesive, you know? So has this experience been different from previous bands that you were in? George, I know you were in Floodwaters. How is this most different from the other bands that you've been in?
I move around a lot more on stage, and I think I just move around a lot more because I found out I like moving around a lot. Because, like, for a while, I wouldn't play as many shows. I would go to shows and, like, you know, do, like, that kind of, like, mosh pit, push pit kind of stuff. I was like, and our music is something that I think people would like to do that, too. So on stage, I just, like, flail around, like, look at them, and the chemistry on stage is just, you can't really explain it, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely there. No doubt about it.
We're all best friends. Wes doesn't have friends other than us, so I'm just kidding. No,
See what I mean, Wes? They give you a hard time about it. Yeah.
no, we really are. We're all best friends, and so that's the thing. Like we ride to and from school together every day. Like we see each other all the time. George FaceTimes me all the time, and so like we're just it really helps because I've been in a band where I wasn't really friends with the people, and George was just getting out of Floodwaters, and so that's when we really became friends. And so it's just crazy to have that experience where after practice is over, we can all go get food and not hate each other.
Yeah,
and so I love it.
It's fantastic. I think that what seems to unite you guys is what unites the best bands, and I can connect with this, which is just this like manic love for music. I mean, we have we have a text group sometimes that we have going before shows, and we get in these long music discussions about bands from the past and albums. And that's what seems to be the running theme with Cheer Squad is you guys, all three of you do have this insane and beautiful love for music. That's very genuine.
Yes.
You know, you really value it in your lives. And that's a huge thing. So let's see how much you value it in your lives with a little live performance here. All right. So take your places. We're going to hear 2 songs tonight from Junior High Cheer Squad. I purposely put Picture Frames second because that is your show closer. You know, I mean, I think every time I've seen you guys, you play it last, and it's a great song. But I have to say that the song we're about to hear is one we've played here on the scene a few times. It's called Change. I think it's one of the best songs easily on the scene. The cleverness behind it, the thought behind it, it's short, but it feels very epic. And so I'm excited to hear this acoustic version of it. So let's turn it over to the boys here. And this is Junior High Cheer Squad with Change here in the studio on 88.1 The Park. Take it away.
That are gone now last. Well, the weather's the same, and the feelings have changed, and I'm taking the blame. Taking the blame. it's your loss.
With this broken heart has taught me anything. It's that change is good.
This broken heart has taught me anything. It's that change is good. Where are you now? You're in the same place as before. And I changed, and change is good.
Change live here in the studio by Junior High Cheer Squad here on the scene on 88.1 The Park. Man, that's a good song, guys.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
You know,
It
a good
means lot.
song when it works electrically and also works acoustically.
That was the first time we did that. We kind of had like a minute of practice downstairs in that stairwell, and I think it went pretty well.
I
You're
think
not
it
supposed to tell people how disorganized we are.
I think it went well, except for Keegan Weaver's hands look like they took a beating from that drumming. But hey, that's what drummers do, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if drummers can feel your hands still, something's wrong, you know? That was excellent, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I'm assuming that that's a live staple. So those who come to see you Sunday night will hear Change.
They will.
Definitely.
They definitely will.
And how many other original songs do you guys have at this point? I know it's
don't
you haven't
think
done
we
an
counted.
album or anything yet. You're kind of doing it song by song.
Let's count right now. I think this would be a good chance.
It's around.
So,
So
we
you got Change?
Change, Picture Frames, 285, Pasta Thursday, Frick You George,
Poor boy.
Poor Boy.
And
I think that's it.
what do we at 6 right now? I feel like we gotta have more than
Yeah.
that.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Right now we'll call it 6.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So
We're working on one right now.
Yeah.
We started writing one last time before the yoga ladies kicked us out.
yes, which happens sometimes in the band. But
Happens too often.
yeah. Well, we'd like to make noise up there, right? But that's
Very
kind of what
much
rock
so.
and roll's all about.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of in the band, I know you guys have used the studio a ton. I
Yes.
mean, more than any other band. Certainly, I think that in the band has been instrumental in you guys forming and developing. Tell me about your experiences at the studio.
Okay. So I started going to the studio a while ago with me and the dog, and me, Nick, and another founder of in the band, Aaron, all jammed there, and I was like, this place is sweet. Just the fact that it exists, just a place with amazing equipment to rehearse for free is just amazing. And so when Junior High Cheer Squad formed, I was like, we definitely need to practice it in the band, and it's the most efficient. It just makes sense to go set up, play, and so man, we've done a lot in that room. We've written probably 4 of the 6 songs we just named. We've written them there. We've written, so like I said, we've written songs. I've punched George at least 12 times in the band.
It's been on video a couple times too.
Yeah, so
What's a band rehearsal without a little physical violence? You know.
Yeah, the studio honestly is just one of my favorite places to be. Like, I'll ask you if I could just go there and do homework, and I just chill there, put on a record in the other room, and grab a guitar if I'm just trying to like hang out, have a good time. And like Keegan said, it's the best place to practice. It makes sense to go there. Has fantastic equipment, easy to get to, and you just do a lot of great things for the students who use that room. Thank you so much.
You bet. Yeah, I think it's helped the scene get even tighter and hopefully get more exposure, and that's a good thing. And I love that you're going up there even just to hang out, study, listen to records, because we got the studio, but you also have the listening room with a pretty good record collection. I mean, it'll
Yeah.
keep growing, but there's some good stuff there.
I feel like it's a good place to get creative too. Like if
Yeah,
I want to go in there and like noodle around on the guitar.
for sure. So let's now hear a song. You didn't write it in the band because earlier you said this was the first song that you wrote as a band. So
Yeah.
Picture Frames was sort of already there, George, in terms of like the shell of the song, or did it really take Keegan coming in to finalize it, or how did the process work?
It was definitely there. Speaking of, you just named Shell. That's another one of our songs. We got 7.
We have 7.
It was meant to be that I said that. There you go.
That was. I still have like the phone recording of like when I did that in like my room.
And I have the phone recording of the first time we played it together.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it is your show closer, so then we'll make it the final live performance you'll do in the studio. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're going to hang out with us for a while. So let's close this 2-song show with the closer for Junior High Cheer Squad. If you go see them Sunday night at Plymouth Arts and Recreation Complex, you will hear Picture Frames, which you're about to hear right now here on 88.1 The Park. Take it away, guys.
All right.
If you don't know what you want, then why did you make me feel so wanted? And if you're so confused, then why do my feelings make so much sense? Now, if you love someone, then let them go is the stupidest thing I've ever said. Cause ever since I said that, all I do is lie in my bed, suffering from a lack of rest. My eyes are bloodshot red. My love is gone, but it once was yours. You told me things about your hair, and what I love so much is that I didn't have to pretend like I cared, because I did. Correction, I do. Well, you said it's cause you're sick, well alone, so am I. The difference is mine is in my head. Now yours might go away, but missing you is a disease I'll always live with until the end. Now don't worry, I'm not mad at you, I'm happy for you. But don't you think for a second that I won't tell people that I don't miss you. Cause correction, do. I do.
All the picture frames on my wall, well, they all fell down. All the picture frames on my wall, well, they all fell down. All the picture frames on my wall, well, they all fell down. Oh, the picture frames on my wall, well, they all fell down. Oh, the picture frames on my wall.
Junior High Cheer Squad with Picture Frames live in studio on the scene on 88.1 The Park. Excellent. Keegan, you just nail that spoken word stuff, man. I love it.
Thank you.
I tell you, live, that's quite an experience. I remember the first time I saw you guys, Keegan sort of stood up on like the riser behind the drums and just gave a very passionate display of that spoken word. That's good stuff. Wes, well, I was kind of putting the ice on you. I'm so fascinated by the relationship between you as a violin player and you as a guitarist. You're very precise. You bring great melody. How has your experience with classical music influenced you in terms of being a rock musician? And is this kind of your outlet away from the rigidness of classical music? Or how does it work when you are that good of a violin player and then you come and jam in a rock band?
Well, it definitely like correlates. I can hear a lot of different melodies with the same, chords that are being played, and so it's really interesting for me to like come up with a new sound that just brings the whole song together for my experience.
That must be an advantage of classical music because you have to know multiple harmonies and how to make different chords, and so that training must translate here. But it also gives you kind of a chance to rock out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet.
It's awesome. We love having him be so freaking smart because, like, we'll be like, we don't really like that chord. He'll be like, well, how about this one or this one or this one or this one? He'll just, like, go through everything that he knows, and we're like, all right,
He's
cool.
also a human tuner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect pitch. So it's like, Wes, sing an E. No. Exactly. He's got it.
That's phenomenal. That's what happens when you're first chair anything. Not that I can relate, but that is. And what, you came in as a freshman, and you were first chair right
first
after
year freshman.
Yeah. And somebody along the way has made clear to me that that's not normal. Like that takes an extreme amount of talent. So cheers to you, Wes. So we're going to move into our influences segment. Each of you had the opportunity to choose a song. We're going to hear from Tiny Moving Parts, which is George's choice. Microwave with the song Lighterless, Wes's choice, and Keegan's choice, which I've spent all day listening to. I've never heard of this band. I've never heard this song. It's phenomenal. I love it. And you chose Can't Wait by, how do you say it? Chan?
It's Chan.
Chan, cool. So we're about to hear the 3 influences songs from Junior High Cheer Squad. We're not done with you guys yet. We'll come back. We'll talk more. We'll preview the show on Sunday night. It's been great having you guys here, but stick around. So here's the influences segment. Tiny Moving Parts, Microwave, and Chan here on the scene on 88.1 The Park. The 3 influences songs from our in-studio guest, Junior High Cheer Squad, Tiny Moving Parts with Birdhouse, Microwave with Lighterless, and Chan with Can't Wait, my favorite song of the day. Thank you, Keegan Weaver. Keegan, you were saying during the break that Tiny Moving Parts, it kind of has a place in the hearts of Junior High Cheer Squad, but you also told me a hilarious story about Wes doing a stage dive. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so me and Wes were at a Tiny Moving Parts show in Lansing, and George was supposed to be there, but he wasn't because he's a butt. And so anyway, it was getting rowdy, and I'm a rowdy person, so I stage dove because stage diving is a lot of fun. And so I stage dove, and I'm like surfing the crowd, I'm on my back, and all of a sudden I just see Wes like just jump over me. He looks like a freaking dolphin, like just like jumping over me. And it was crazy because if you know anything about Wes, like he's like a sheltered, kind of just reserved, like to himself kid.
He's pretty calm.
He's very calm.
Yeah.
And he just like
a wild man.
Jumped so far out into the crowd. And it was amazing. And I was like, yeah, Wes, yeah.
Wes, was the stage dive pretty sweet?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah, everyone
My
remembers
first-
their first stage dive. It's a big moment in a man's life. or a woman's life, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
excellent. Well, Tiny Moving Parts was one of the influences that you guys chose. Now we're going to go right into the Scene Rewind segment. Let's bring Bill Keith, station director of 88.1 The Park, into the conversation. Tonight we chose Good Luck Varsity, which seemed to work out well because I think yesterday George texted me and said, hey, let's have Good Luck Varsity on the Scene Rewind. I can't remember if it was George or Keegan.
We were just listening to them in the car.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
very cool. So, Bill, tell us about this. We actually made this choice long before George wanted us to, so it must have been meant to be. But tell me about this band and their connection to PSAP.
Well, this album that we're going to play is a 7-song release they did called The Road, The Rail, The Wreckage. And I remember first hearing these guys because of The Rising Tide, who we featured last month. And The Rising Tide didn't last, but kind of the remnants of that band kind of formed Good Luck Varsity. And this actual CD, I was looking at them online to kind of try to listen to it maybe on their Bandcamp page, but they don't even list the CD on their Bandcamp page because it was an earlier incarnation of the band before I think Ryan Graham joined the band. But, you know, I like this release. I was listening to it a couple times today, and we played the song The Road quite a bit on the station back in those days when we were an indie rock station. And I enjoyed getting the chance to really listen to the rest of the music that was on here. So I thought one of the unique things about the group was their harmonies. I mean, you had the Baker brothers, Evan and Jordan, and so they brought a lot of vocal power to the band. But they also had a woman that played guitar and sang too, named Jen Wagner, and her vocals, you can hear it in the mix, and her vocals definitely added a lot to the band back then. And I think the other big thing that stands out about them is just kind of a big anthem type sound. I mean, they really delivered it well.
Which is unique for younger bands to get that huge sound. You know, and even just from a production standpoint, I know that sometimes it's hard to achieve, but I know their recordings were really high quality too.
Yeah, they did some really nice stuff. There was one song, I almost played the song Beautiful, I was going to pick the song Beautiful Disaster, but it's more like almost like a country kind of ballad type thing to it. It's very different than the rest of the CD. It's very cool, but just very different. But the song I picked was called Shipwrecked Safe and Sound.
Yeah, and I know Evan, their lead singer, has always been really influenced with like kind of the old folk or country thing. Like on his newer project, he did a cover of Wayfaring Stranger.
Yeah, his new band is
American Arson.
Yeah, American Arson.
It's actually, Weston almost picked an American Arson song. We love those guys so much, and me and Weston were in a Good Luck Varsity music video.
Oh, okay.
We were in the music video for We Are the Young, and and so it was so much fun. We love those guys.
And Ryan was, I haven't had a chance to really listen to anything by them since Ryan joined the band, but I remember him from the Dry Leaf Project.
And then now he's doing his thing. And I was just texting Ryan like the other day about what he's doing. He actually let me listen to one of his demos for the new album and it's just really good stuff. He's recording and writing with the lead singer of Copeland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's great stuff.
Well, I'd like to hear that because I thought Copeland was great. Mm-hmm. That's cool. So it was meant to be tonight, really.
Yeah,
we've got Junior High Cheer Squad in studio, and we've got Good Luck Varsity as the Scene Rewind. So let's get right into it. So, Bill Keith, what's the song title again? Shipwrecked Safe and Sound?
Shipwrecked Safe and Sound.
Cool. So here is Good Luck Varsity on the Scene Rewind on 88.1 The Park. Good Luck Varsity on the Scene Rewind here on the Scene on 88.1 The Park. I know the Junior High Cheer Squad guys were digging that.
Yep.
As big fans of that band. It's amazing that you guys seem to know everybody that we play on this show. Which have some kind of story or connection, but
we just like music.
You do.
You know what it is? It's if you go to church, you know everybody that everybody else in the community that goes to church, and they all went to church with us.
Well, and they have shows at the barn. I've heard
Yep.
a lot of people reference that and stuff. So I know that's sort of part of the scene. So that was Good Luck Varsity. You guys are gonna be playing on Sunday night, which will be April 30th. At Plymouth Arts and Recreation Complex. You guys will be playing on the second floor, just down the hall from the In the Band Music Appreciation Studio. Are you looking forward to the show?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Definitely. I've been talking about it all week. I'm so hyped.
George does a great job of building the enthusiasm for shows.
He does.
I always
he really
just
does.
say, let's party, let's have a good time.
It's so funny because he's always like the most enthusiastic, but then right before we go on, he's always like the most nervous.
Yeah.
He's always like, and he's always
Because I build up the hype I want to live up to.
Absolutely. And George, you do. You live up to the hype, man. Every time we see you play.
So we party on stage.
Absolutely. And so who all will be there Sunday night? It's you guys, Daddy and the Long Legs. Tell me the other bands that'll be there.
Swordfish. Band called Swordfish. They just released their album. It's up for stream on, I don't know the website, but if you search them, you'll find it. Yeah, it's on SoundCloud. And then Ode Miana, they're a fun instrumental math rock band, and a Wellman, which is one of my favorites. They're all those bands are great friends with us. They're great guys. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, and I know that Daddy and the Long Legs just seemed like they've been very supportive of being part of the scene. You know, it's cool that they would ask you guys to join them for their 1-year anniversary. I know they put on a heck of a show.
They very much do.
They are worth the price of admission. Not only their catchy songs, but Marco's really great frontman.
Yeah,
he knows how to be on stage. So it should be a fun night. A Sunday night show.
Sunday night show. Come out. Have a good time on a Sunday night.
$5 at the door. And if you go to Plymouth Arts and Recreation Complex, make sure you go to the second floor. We'll put signs everywhere, make sure people know where to go.
Yep.
And you guys will be going on earlier the night?
We're going on at 8:10. It's Wellman, Ode Miana, then us, Swordfish, and Daddy and the Long Legs will close out the night.
Perfect. Gonna be a fun night of music. So
yep.
We certainly invite everybody to come out and check that out. We certainly invite everybody to check out our next edition of The Scene, which is always sort of in the last Thursday of the month. So we'll check back in with everybody in late May. We're getting towards the end of the school year, boys.
Woo woo!
Oh, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
I'm just counting down the days of graduation.
Nothing wrong.
What year are you, George?
I'm a senior. I'm about to graduate.
Oh, you're a senior. You are getting close.
I'm a junior, and I'm counting down the days of graduation.
I've been counting down the days since about midway through sophomore year.
Since second grade.
George, are you still going to be around here after you graduate?
Well, the thing is, I'm probably still going to be driving them to school. So.
Wes and Keegan are like, he will.
But definitely, I'll probably pick him up or something, hang out. I still have a bunch of friends who go here. Yeah,
You're going Eastern, right?
Yeah, Eastern.
So this is good news that Cheer Squad's not going anywhere, right? You guys.
We don't plan on going anywhere.
Good.
We plan on keep on partying.
Excellent. Do it until Wes becomes goes to Juilliard.
I was going to say Wes is going to be at Berkeley, and we're just going to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, and Wes is irreplaceable. I'm telling you. You guys would have a hard time
really
finding
is.
another Wes. So. It's been awesome having you guys here. Thanks so much for joining. You sounded amazing in your
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for using in the band. You guys represent everything that we're all about. So we appreciate it. We look forward to Sunday night. We're going to go out tonight with our good friend Binyah Howard, who we had in the studio earlier this year with the Golden Age. And we're going to hear from Hayden Kuzmano, who we heard from earlier as part of Tasty Garden, but his solo project, which I just love. Hayden, I want to hear more music, man, with a lackadaisical attitude. That's going to play us out. We want to thank everybody for joining us tonight on The Scene. We will check back in with you in late May. Thanks for being part of the show tonight. Thank you to Junior High Cheer Squad. Here is Binyah Howard and Hayden Kuzmano on The Scene on 88.1 The Park.
She was everything I wanted and everything I needed, just like my cup of tea that I barely heated. And I thought back to the other night when you said that everything's alright. You had me running all in circles and jumping over hurdles just so I could next to you.
Hi, I'm Clint Smiley, the principal at West Middle School, and you're listening to The Scene on 88.1 The Park, Plymouth and Canton's hit music.
Mr. Hayden Kuzmano, the man with the great music taste, with a lackadaisical attitude, here on The Scene on 88.1 The Park. I want to thank everyone for joining once again. I want to thank Bill Keith, station manager of 88.1 The Park, for continuing to have us here. I want to thank all of our musicians that use the In the Band Music Appreciation Studio. You guys are who we are here to serve, so thanks a bunch for supporting what we do. In the Band does have a GoFundMe campaign right now that everyone should check out, where we're raising some money for some new live equipment. So check that out online as well. We want to thank everybody for joining and for listening to 88.1 The Park, Plymouth Canton's hit music.